So
time is now 6:02 p.m. and I'll call to order our McMinnville Fire District Board of Directors November 20th meeting. And first up is roll call of directors.
President Garvin,
Here.
Vice President Smith is online.
Here.
Secretary Pratt.
Here.
Treasurer Traff. I know he's at work, so we'll keep an eye on for him. And Director Hyder.
Here. All right, next up we have the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll point your direction to staff and
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chief. Any changes to the agenda tonight? Anyone? All right, takes us to our consent agenda. This is our October 23rd minutes. If the board has had a chance to review those, I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. The motion by Director Hyder and a second by Secretary Pratt. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. And let the record show Treasurer Traff has just joined the meeting at 6:03 p.m. That'll take us to our financial report. And with the back page of your packet. And you want to share anything around that, Michelle, or?
Yeah, you can go ahead. Go ahead and start, and
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to be here with you this evening. We were able to close the books for 24-25, and so that means that we have a beginning fund balance here. That's the first change. So in the second column, right now the beginning fund balance is listed there, and it wasn't listed on your prior report. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. The other thing that we did with this report was add July through September as its column, and then added October as a standalone column, just so you could kind of see how the expenses are running for the quarter, the last quarter, and then for this month. So each month we'll kind of just add to those columns so that you can kind of see how the years progress is the goal. And then, so year to date, we are at 35% of revenues and 21% of budgeted expenditures. So we're on the right track for that. I can stop there, or I can go line by line. I'll just kind of ask what you'd like.
Any questions on the financial report? The beginning fund balance, the budgeted amount versus the amount shown there, just carried over less than we thought we were going to, or?
Yes, so whenever you, typically whenever you budget, that's an estimate made in about March of the year. And it's kind of hard to know where you're going to end up at the end of the fiscal year. And so after we got all the accounts reconciled and that sort of thing, that's where we ended up.
And one other point of note, though, this 1 million is higher than we produced our budget on, because we, at the end of the year, that number was going down and down and down. At least was thought to be. And so when we did our budget, we actually did it off of 250,000 carryover. So this is actually in excess of what at the end of June, what we actually thought we would achieve. So it's actually to Crystal's point, the 1.7 is from projection. It's actually fun.
Any other questions around the budget for Crystal or Chief?
A couple other, I think, important notes that I'd like to bring up. First of all, thanks to the two to my left here. We have completed two fiscal year financial audits in the last 6 months successfully. We just completed our second audit a week ago or so. We have a couple small things that we're waiting to see if we need to provide or such, but in general, it's completed. They were very happy with us this year. We've come again from the transition, that difficult transition of going away from a 150-year-old fire department to a brand new fire district is wonky at best. They were very happy with how we did this year, the ability to provide documentation in a timely manner. So we had our on-site last week and completed everything they have requested. So I think that's a positive. Our payoff for Tran loan, we're tracking that right now. We are, do you have a total number for the taxes to date? Okay, so we are pending 4.1 million right now. We've received some before that. Just like we did last year, our intention is to pay off our Tran early, just like we did last year. And we're on, we have a little over 4 million in the bank, and we have a pending 4.1 million right now, and we owe 7.5 Tran. So we're working collaboratively and collectively on when's the right time to pull that trigger to write the check, but it will be soon. So much like last year. The books, all the books now from July of this year to end of October, because obviously we're still in November, are up to date, current, and reconciled. And so again, that's kind of the benefits of Crystal and Michelle's work, and we're on a good trajectory forward in our projects. But thank you to Crystal and Michelle and Jenny for providing all that information in a very short period of time and completing 2 audits in less than 6 months. And that's all I have. Oh yeah, one more thing. There is a questionnaire for the board for the financial audit that you'll be getting. There's some discrepancy on whether or not it's mandatory or not mandatory. It'll be provided once we get it to you. We'll provide it to you. You do it and you send it directly back to the auditors. So we're still waiting for that from them.
I just got it.
You just got it. We just got it today, so we'll be sending it out to you guys for you to complete, send back directly to the auditors. And that is one.
Yeah. Any other questions on that?
On ambulance billing, it looks like that's charges for service. Do we record how much the losses are?
Much to what?
The losses are?
We do, and we can provide that. Jenny produces that frequently. Last year was about 11 million in write-offs.
Oh, correct. Are we talking?
Ambulance.
Yes, so we're talking, like, it was more than that. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but I believe it was more than that, but I'd be happy to get that for you.
We can get it for you. It's just over 11 million. And we subsidize approximately 3.8 million out of the general fund to subsidize that. I'll call it 11 million, little over 11 million. Write-offs. Predominantly, as stated before, predominantly Medicare, Medicaid, because of their set fee. So we charge $2,500 and we get $500. And as stated before, we're still working at the federal, state, and to try and fight. So that's what. And Washington County and Clackamas County both very significantly just increased their rates, like very significant.
That's where it write-offs.
That's what it is. You'll collect a small, or 11% ish of private pay.
Private pay is private pay is about 12% of all of our call. But on private pay, our returns are going to increase dramatically starting in the next year because of the new Oregon law that's going to go into effect. So,
The insurance companies are required to pay an amount now, instead of stating the amount. But we'll still have, to your point, yes, we would, out of that 12%, we'd get a little bit more money, but our write-offs would go from 11 million to 30 million. And what did we accomplish, $100,000, so it's kind of smoke and mirrors, if you will. I mean, it's money, but so we're working through that. Yep. Total received in taxes to date is $6,052,050. So to the 8.452. That's all. Yeah. Great, go for it.
Anything else from you, Crystal?
Okay. Thank you, though.
Yeah, thanks for the financial. All right, that takes us to our public comment portion of the evening. For this meeting, for anybody from the public to provide up to 3 minutes of comment of any district related business. Anybody on Zoom besides the on the screen? If anybody on Zoom would like to speak, please raise your hand. We don't have any public comment from. All right, hearing and seeing none, we'll close public comment. That'll take us to our business action required items this evening. First up, we have our board committee liaison reports with LoSAP. Treasurer Tracker, do you have any updates on that or status quo?
Yes, sir. It's status quo on my end. I have a new balance for you, $964,456.19.
All right, thank you very much for that. Any questions for Treasurer Trapp? Hearing none, that'll move us to item B, our board information reports. Any information reports from any board members? We have Vice President Smith with something.
I could provide an update from the OFDDA conference if you like.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. So I'm at the Oregon Fire District Directors Association conference in Seaside today, tomorrow, and leaving Saturday morning. And just a brief update about the conference. Seems to be well attended. This morning, we had the presentation of the colors and Pledge of Allegiance by the Oregon Fire Service Honor Guard. And our own Dale McKinney, retired, passed away in 2025, was honored as part of 23 folks that were honored in memoriam at the bell ceremony this morning. Thought I'd mention that. Mariana Ruiz Temple, Chief of the Oregon State Fire Marshal, was awarded the OFDDA President's Award for outstanding contributions to the Oregon Fire Service this morning as well. We heard from Rep. Paul Evans out of Monmouth talking about priorities for him in the next session. He talked a little bit about a bill that, if successful, would create regional training centers around the state, perhaps as many as 5 to 7 of these. And so departments and districts can take part in training more regionally, and that would be also through the DPSST. And then Genoa Ingram. For those that know Genoa, she's been a longtime lobbyist for the OFDDA. She announced her retirement today. And she'll be in her current role until the end of June of next year. But when she's done, Victory Group, and they're actually starting to do work now, but she'll be with us until the end of the next session, till the end of June. But Victory Group with Kevin and Chloe will be taking over as lobbyists for the OFDDA. And for those that may or may not know that Victory Group is current lobbyist, new, just brought in about a year ago for the Oregon Fire Chiefs Association and SDAO. So it'll be nice to have alignment between the Oregon Fire Chiefs, SDAO, and now OFDDA. And we heard from Chloe as well, gave us a really nice ledge update. And that's it. Taking a few classes tomorrow, 2 classes tomorrow, and coming back on Saturday. So that is an update from the OFDDA conference in Seaside.
Thank you for that, Vice President Smith. Great information, and glad to hear the synergy around the lobbying group. Anything else? I have one item, the McMinnville Art Committee, which is the committee around the city that places art, and they have for a couple decades. They had originally put some art up at Station 1 that was on a concrete pad between the wash rack and Adams Street. There's a rock sculpture or stone sculpture that got some frozen water in it, cracked a couple years back. So it's just been a bare slab, and they're interested in commissioning a new sculpture from Steve Tyree, sculpturist. And right now the concept is for it to be a bull elk, and they were curious if the fire district would be interested in letting that be placed there. There's no cost to the district. That committee gets a little bit of money from the city, but it's largely funded through private donations, anonymous donors, things like that. They've placed Abe Lincoln at the community center, Ben Franklin on 3rd Street at U.S. Bank Plaza. They placed some art at the old Oregon Mutual campus, which is now the Yandell County campus. Basically all the art you see around town, the sculpture and the roundabout on Hill Road to Baker Creek. There's a committee that's responsible for all that.
They'll be responsible for the insurance on it.
I will have to ask them that. I know they have covered the cost of any repairs to Ben Franklin and other art around town when things have happened, like his glasses getting broken and things of that nature. But as far as insurance goes, I did not ask that specific question. So just wanted to kind of get a head nod if you guys were open to the concept. I wanted them to bring back an actual draft drawing of what they want to end up putting there before we gave them 100% okay, but I wanted to get a temperature of the board before I put them down that path when they requested today. So if you guys are open to the concept, we can explore it further with them and have Steve Rupp come and present to the board at a future board meeting. He's the chair of that committee. But I didn't want to have them go down that path of getting something drafted and then us just shoot them down. So not asking for a vote right now. I just want to know if there's any willingness to explore that.
I'd certainly be open to the concept. Would love to see the plans and design and make sure that we're all supportive of the idea, including the fire chief and what have you. But I'm certainly open to the idea.
Thank you, Vice President Smith. Treasurer Trafford, do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I'm in total support of art in our community, and like Vice President Smith said, as long as it aligns with fire chief, and I'm in full support.
Thank you. Okay. I'll let Steve know, and then probably in January or February have to bring something forth. Thank you for that. With no other informational reports, we'll move on to budget committee. Item C, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is just a heads up for you all. You don't need to take any action per se, but per your board policy, by your February meeting, you need to appoint to your budget committee and the members of your budget committee. We do have 2 members that are set to expire in this year, which is Matt Scales and Steve Leonard. I personally spoke with Steve Leonard. He did ask if we were interested in him continuing, and of course I said, of course. And he is interested in continuing his tenure if the board so chose. And I believe Donna, did you? Okay, so Donna spoke with Matt Scales directly, and he also would like to continue if the board so chose. Last year, Mr. Budget, thank you for being in the crowd, was also up. The board did elect to move forward at, I believe it was their December meeting, to continue him on. It doesn't state when you have to do it as much as it does state when you have to do it by, which is it. So you could do it tonight, you could do it in December, January, and or February, but they do technically expire at the end of this year.
Do we need a resolution for that to vote on, or?
Yeah.
No. So you need a motion to, and when will their new terms expire?
Wait, 2 years. Is that correct?
3.
3 years. Thank you.
So they would expire the end of 28. 26, 27, 28.
Yes, I think.
Just wanna do anything on that now? You wanna do it in December? Alright, if anybody would like to make a motion that we appoint budget committee members Matt Scales and Stephen Leonard, the new terms expiring December 31st, 2028, I would entertain a motion on that.
So,
We have a motion by Secretary Pratt and second by Director Hyder. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you for that.
We will make contact with them.
Now we're to our informational department reports. First up, we have local 3099. President Godfrey tonight said he wasn't going to attend, but he thought volunteer might. Volunteer Zoom mill. So nothing from the local. We'll move on to our Volunteer Firefighters Association President Pete Goodman.
Hello, everybody. Good to see you. So November, we've had our first decoration setup was November 2nd on 3rd Street. They wanted some advertising for Christmas. And so this weekend on Sunday, we're going to do 99W, that's north and south. And the Water and Light helps us with that. And Verizon, we have a breakfast at 7 o'clock. Breakfast. December 28th is the Christmas parade downtown, and I believe that starts at 4:30. And we'll have Santa this year. He's riding on the truck. The Christmas party is December 6th. I believe that starts at 5:30. 5 o'clock. You're all invited to that, although you need to let Donna or Jenny know, please. We also have our Christmas toy gift delivery, which we partner with Salvation Army. That's on December 22nd. Do we know how many families there are this year?
We're at I believe 100 or slightly more. We just got the list this week, so it's getting sorted and counted and organized.
I think last year we had
Over 100.
100 kids, I believe.
I believe we were not quite that high. That was 2 years ago. We had 400, a little less than that last year, but we asked for 250 kids from Salvation Army, which we got, and then we have already been reached out to by several other community organizations asking us for help. So we've been adding kids to the list, which is usually how our number gets up there.
And last thing I have is our academy students. For the volunteer side, we still have 6, so nobody's left. And they're now kind of towards the end of academy, and we're doing final checkoffs. So, yellow hat, we call them. Kind of good fighters. And we awarded 3 students their black hats the other night.
There's 4 of the 6 student sleepers are now black helmets. The other 2 are now yellow helmets. The yellow can ride with the black, they just can't go solo. So now we have 4 of our student sleepers in addition to respond with career and volunteer staff.
So that should help us out. That's all I got.
Thank you. Burn alert? Don't they have burn alert?
20th of December.
That's the wastewater house. That'll be evening. Say that.
Question on it. Burn on the 20th. Do you know if it's at night?
That was the first I've heard of it. I thought it was June or January.
It's supposed to be. The city wanted it a little earlier, so I believe it's
It's
at
a Saturday, so it's probably.
yeah, I believe it's a midday. I'll check.
20th, that'll start. That'll be a Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be like an 8 o'clock start probably.
Let's go around it. Okay, thank you. And next up we have fire chief support.
My divisions are all spread around. Chief Darby's online. I believe he's with Vice President Smith. Not I believe. I know, well, I hope, because he told me he was at OFDEA with Vice President. So if he's not, don't say anything. Chief Darby, do you have anything to report?
Yes, thanks, Chief. I'm here. Director Smith can vouch for me. I apologize, my camera is not working. Yeah, we're having a great time here. This is my first time at OFDDA, and it's actually quite a pretty big conference, bigger than I thought. So it sounds like it's actually the largest conference they've had in 50 years. So really good networking. We had some great classes today, ethics, board policy classes, some leadership classes, and to Director Smith mentioned, Chloe from the Victory Group gave a very thorough 2025 ledge update and kind of just prepping everybody for the 26 short session. Fire prevention wise, I just want to give a shout out to Pete and the combat and the non-combat volunteers. We had a huge turnout for Halloween on 3rd Street. Lots of folks came down to see our booth. We ended up giving, I think, Pete, correct me if I'm wrong, it was 11 bags of candy in 2-hour period. And I want to thank the volunteers. They ended up purchasing all of that candy, which was, I think, over $200 in candy. Fire prevention wise, it's pretty preliminary, but we are partnering with Western Fire Chiefs, MFD and Western Fire Chiefs and ODF. We are start looking into a new online portal, which will be for open burning. So we're expecting to try to roll that out in the next 3 to 4 months. We just signed an agreement with them today, but I'll have more to report to the board as we progress into the spring. But pretty cool platform, and we're hoping to we're kind of the guinea pig for this project with a couple other departments throughout the state, but I'll have more to report on that in the next couple months. Other than that, we're kind of finishing up the year with inspections as we get into December, and entertain any questions for the board.
That Chief Darby, any questions for fire prevention? Thank you.
Thank you.
I think the biggest news for ops and training is I made a operational move between the division chief of training and the division chief of ops. Amy is now the division chief of training and EMS, and Aaron on an interim basis. We did get civil service to extend his 6-month work back to June, so he'll do a year basically work back for us. We'll be putting out for the division chief of operations position in end of February, very, very first part of March, with the intent to have a new division chief of operations by June. They've both done a great jobs in their roles, and we've had a ton of training lately. The career staff all completed their ladder books. And to that note, for the first time, I'm going to say in history, but I don't know that, in a very long time, we actually staffed the engine and the truck the other night until 7 o'clock throughout the shift. So that went to a couple different things. Training, the Chief Shof has been managing the career staff's completion of their ladder books, but also being close to fully staffed. We're down 2 people right now, but with our floater positions and our students, we were able to staff 2 apparatus instead of just our 1. So 2 advantages of that. 1, we have more fire assets in the district, but 2, it gets them some good experience as actually running the ladder truck. That's just great hands-on experience. So if we ever need it, as the captain said, we last night we now have 4 black helmets in the student sleeper program and 2 yellow helmets. So that's 4 more firefighters that can go on any rig, and 2 firefighters that can go with another black helmet in the student role. So help bolster the career staff, help bolster the volunteer staff, and get more vehicles out the door quicker. We have already seen a pretty significant change in responses. So that's pretty exciting news. Captain's promotional exam, that's been completed. Civil Service did approve and adopt the captain's list. Tanner Morton was a successful candidate on that list. He was promoted for our vacant position. And in that, I also made moves of all 3 of the captains and did some shift transfers to align with the strengths and weaknesses of both battalion chiefs and captains. And so that will take place, I believe, starting December 7th. We'll do some of those shift moves. And congratulations to Captain Morton. We have open recruitment right now for many positions. We have a mechanics position open right now. We will be testing, is it still 7? Monday? 8 on Monday. We are up to 32 applicants for our mechanic position, which is pretty amazing. I want to take a second to thank our mechanic, Brad Stern, for the last little over a year, almost a year and a half with us. He's done an outstanding job. He's a great mechanic. He's going back to his business. He really enjoys the business side of things. He does a great job for many organizations in this county and outside this county. But I am happy that we did get 32 applicants, and we're moving on with 8 on Monday. We have firefighter, paramedic, firefighter, EMT, and single role paramedic all open. The single role paramedic is for a list only. And firefighter, paramedic, and firefighter, EMT, we have 1 position open each. So EMT side, 15, 18. Paramedic side, we have 1. Single role side, I think last I checked, we had 3. So, and those are still open through what, in December? iPads versus laptops. So we, with our additional staffing and such, we are needing to buy more computers. And as I go to these meetings throughout the city and Water and Light, several other places, I've noticed that their staff has iPads, and a little easier to move around, a little easier to carry around. So I wanted to bring it to the board and float the idea. We could circulate our laptops into where they're actually using them as computers versus using them as email checkers and, schedule checkers and such. I don't personally carry either way, but before I go out and buy 5 more laptops, when I could buy 5 iPads, I wanted to ask you your thoughts on, do you use the laptops as computers? Do you need computers? If so, that's absolutely great. If email checking, it would be a setup much like this where you'd have an actual keyboard and the apps would be on here. So it's just to click on an app, your email would be right there, your calendars, all that stuff. But if you're actually using them as computers and need them as computers, then I would say stay. So, but before I went out and bought 5 new ones, I wanted to kind of pass that to the board.
I personally don't use mine as the computer. I just got it back tonight. It works now. So it works now, but
And
yeah.
you know why we have to buy 5 new computers.
Yeah, so yeah, so I would be opposed to that if I had easier.
iPad sounds great. I mainly just check emails.
Treasurer Traff or Vice President Smith, any concerns of going to laptop or going to an iPad and turning your Dell laptop in exchange?
No concerns for me. iPad would be all I would need.
I echo that as well. An iPad would be great.
Like we got 4 new laptops and a Surface in queue for you.
We'll get you some laptop or some iPads. Thank you all. Now on to a couple other things. Wanted to give an update on Station 15. Chief Darby and myself have been working pretty hard behind the scenes on some of the Station 15 stuff. We've met with the city again. We had a very positive meeting. We're still working with them, but I think that we're on a path to be successful. We have several things that we need to do still. And I'm not saying that we'll get there, but I'm very pleased with where we're at, pleased with the city. And we're going to still continue to work on some things. Some of those things that we're working on and we were working on beforehand already. We have contracted with a surveyor. It's actually a local surveyor. We did get 3 bids, but the local was actually significantly cheaper. So we're going to be doing a survey of the actual property just to make sure that bids are all in the right place before we start building something. And then we will be doing a geo report for the soil on this piece of property. That will help us also determine the feasibility of building and or remodeling the seismic structure on this property. So we were already working on those when we met with 2 separate architects just for discussion purposes. And that was one of their recommendations. We are also working with an architect right now to get some just general information of what I call turning left or right. And that is, do we put our money into this station, the actual physical station, and make it a fire station, or do we build a standalone, like the bays off the back, with an actual standalone station? Then phase 2, bring this up to seismic with a seismic grant type of deal. The architects that we've talked to are very helpful in that realm. The good news, I'm not exactly sure how Chief Darby just came up with these, but we found the 79 actual original drawings for this building, which is huge. It saves us a very large amount of money. So we are digitizing those tomorrow, and we'll get those sent off to the architects. And they were very confident for about $5,000 that they would be able to tell us to go left or right with a very good rendition, not a buildable rendition, but a very good rendition of what we could do for our $3 million. So I think those are pretty big steps forward in the last, probably month since our last board meeting. Sometimes it doesn't look like we're doing a lot because you don't hear it, but staff's working very hard on those types of things. And I think we're in a very good place. So I'll stop there if there's questions on 15. Topic for the board.
Fair enough.
Okay. Water and light, we've had several meetings, I think, since our last meeting with water and light. I'm very happy to say we had a very positive meeting the other day, and I believe that we have a workable path forward. We have things to work out. Nothing has been agreed upon on either side, but I do think that we are on a positive path for success forward. So we are exchanging some information back and forth right now, and I fully intend that if the next meeting you will likely have some sort of a path forward. Water and light staff, the mayor, as well as President Garvin, Chief Shelf, and myself, and Michelle, I think have worked hard on the project, and we've got a very positive path. And I do have confirmation that burn alarm on the 20th is at 0800%. That's all I have. Unless there's questions.
Any questions on the chief report? All right, hearing
I
none.
have a comment, President Garvin. Chief, a moment ago you mentioned staffing an engine in a truck.
Yeah.
And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge, one, we realize that is not something that we're able to do consistently yet at this point. But it's something that maybe we have never done before that I'm aware of. So I just want to just acknowledge that when it comes to providing fire response in McMinnville, the ability to get an engine and a truck out the door as part of a first response is a level of service that I think is really what we're all striving for. So just want to acknowledge how great that is that happened. I hope we can get to do more of that in the future. That is certainly part of the commitment we've made to the community around providing enhanced fire response. Doesn't take anything away from our EMS response, which is always fantastic, or the great work our volunteers do to get apparatus out the door as well. But to staff an engine and truck, pretty amazing. Want to acknowledge that. Thank you.
That Vice President Smith, any other comments on chief report? Hearing none, that moves us to item B, which is correspondence. Since our last meeting, we received a letter regarding Social Security from our past training chief Law around his comments and concerns around Social Security. Since that was sent to all of us board members, that becomes a public record document that'll be included in the amended packet. Wanted to bring that correspondence awareness, just like any other email that's sent to the entire board. When we do get those emails, it's always important that you don't reply all. That then becomes a serial meeting. So if you are ever going to reply to any communications that are sent to all of us at one time, reply individually, and then also forward that correspondence to Michelle and the chief so they can get them entered into the packet. Any questions around that process? Hearing none, that'll take us to item C, informational item. The informational items tonight that haven't already been.
This is where it goes, but our second annual Board of Directors Award. One of those this year for the Christmas party.
It is open right now. The awards are open right now for nominations. Your award is an individual award, meaning the board, you don't fall into the same timelines we do. So beginning of January is when our awards are due to us. But the union actually has an award and the board has an award that you manage yourselves. We would like to, if you need something from us, like an award or something like that, if we could know early January, that's beneficial for us to make sure that we can get it, whatever you choose, whether it's an engravement or a item or such, that we can get it ordered and make sure that it's here and ready for you. That can go directly to Donna. It doesn't have to go through me.
I couldn't remember if we did it at Christmas party or somewhere else.
It's awarded in March.
Yeah.
But
yes.
Vice President Smith and I talked. We were really happy with the work that Eric T did last year on getting all that information, because we don't want to have a serial meeting. So if we send it to her individually, let her fill out, bring all that together, we can have that conversation in an executive session like we did last year, and that can be presented at that award. Vice President Smith and I would like to continue with that fashion, and I can work with Michelle on getting something out to all of us in December, and then that way we can arrive on a decision and let the award be purchased and presented in March. But first, with the other awards, it has a greater flexibility and not seem so rushed. But I think last year we did it in February and it kind of a rushed fashion. Right. So if you guys are all good with that, we'll do that via email through Michelle, so that way zero meeting. You good with that, Treasure Trap?
Yes, sir. Yes, I am. That sounds great.
Thank you. Any other informational item? With that, our next meeting will be Thursday, December 18th, 2025 at 6 p.m. We will go into executive session after our adjournment from regular session. We won't be moving back into regular session, and this executive session will be held to deliberate with persons designated by the governing body to carry out labor negotiations held pursuant to ORS 192660 2D. And with that, I'll adjourn tonight's meeting at 6:47 p.m.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.